Isn't it amazing when we stand up how they just all jump up?
They do.
It's good. Well, welcome to August 2nd session. Can't believe summer's about over. Before we start, we always open with a prayer. We have our friend Michael Brandenburg here from Greenbush Baptist Church to do that for us today. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Commissioners. It's an honor to be here today. Let's bow our heads, please. Heavenly Father, Lord, in our hearts today, we plan our course, but we pray that you establish our steps. I pray that we seek you for advice. Lord, let us not make decisions based upon what we know, but let us be based upon your wisdom. I specifically pray, Lord, for those gathered in this chamber today, that we invite you to preside over this meeting, even if we have different opinions. Give us unity of spirit. Help us to listen politely as others share their points of view. Help us to work as a unified force, combining ideas for a greater outcome. Satisfy the needs that need to be met during this meeting for the citizens of this county. Strengthen us as we make tough decisions. We commit this meeting to you. Come and reveal your will in every aspect of our life and purpose. And as we discuss the affairs of this county, we ask that your will be done. Show us your purpose and enlighten us that we may know you and accomplish the task set before us today. We desire your glory and blessing in all that we do. Direct our thoughts, words, decisions, and actions towards the right path, and help us to stay on that path that you have ordered. Let your will be done. What's best for the beloved county of Clermont. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
And if I could, before we do the pledge, Michael, say a little extra prayer for Commissioner Painter and his family and the loss of his sister this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you. Want to lead us in the pledge?
I will.
Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Moving on to item B, approval of regular session minutes of July 26, 2023. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
I will second. Roll call, Gail?
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes, I was here at that session.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
I get mixed up. I'm
That's okay.
sorry.
That's
I
all right.
left you out. Item C is a presentation today. Bill DeHaas, you're going to give us an update on senior service.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Been behind this podium a few times, never for a presentation like this, and I'm glad we have a packed house for it.
They came for you.
I suspected that. But anyway, again, thank you for having us. And I just want to say thank you to the Commissioners and the community for entrusting Clermont Senior Services to provide the services that I'm about to talk about to the older adult population here in Clermont County. So I'm going to be providing some service data from 2022. Go ahead and advance that slide. So Clermont Senior Services exists to provide a broad range of services to the older adult population here in Clermont County to keep them in their homes, delay nursing home placements, and at the end of the day, save taxpayer dollars by doing that. We focus on a bias to serve. We are here to serve our older adult community members. Performance excellence, being responsible stewards of taxpayer and donor dollars. Continuous needs assessments. We do these typically every 2 years. We go out into the community, pull together older adults to determine what the needs of the county are, what the needs of our older adults are, so that we can pivot if we need to based on the services that they'll be requiring. And protecting the health, safety, and well-being, of course, of the older adults in this community. So what I've given you here is just kind of a snapshot of what our typical customer looks like. So the majority are female. Majority of our customers are in their mid-70s, living alone. And our youngest, obviously, is 60. That's our starting point for seniors. And currently, our oldest is 102. So we've got some centurions in our midst. Go ahead. 81% of all revenue for services comes directly from the senior services levy here in Clermont County. We use those funds, obviously, to provide service to the older adults. And a big portion of that, too, also is used as a local match for various grants. One of the big ones is the 5310 Specialized Transportation Program through FTA. It's an 80-20. So federal is 80% and a local match is 20. That allows us to get new buses and modified minivans and software to ensure that we're providing safe and efficient transportation to the older adults here in our county. And as always, the levy is a payer of last resort. So that means anytime we have a customer asking for services, we're ensuring that there is no other payer source for them. So maybe insurance, whether that be a private insurance or Medicaid. We only use the levy for services when those do not exist. Here's just a pie chart of our revenue sources. You can see there that the senior levy accounts for almost $5.5 million. Other sources there: Passport, Title III, United Way, various fundraising efforts, and donations. Go ahead and hit the next slide. I'll kind of go into this one. You can see here, this is a slide of levy versus total revenues. And you can see that margin over the years has grown closer together. We have lost some additional funding sources, one being United Way. They've kind of changed their direction, their mission a little bit more, and our missions don't necessarily intersect like they once did. So they're still doing great things out in the community, but we're just not a part of that. Another big revenue source that we've lost a bit of is Passport, which is Medicaid waiver services. Back in late 2020, early 2021, we made the difficult decision to discontinue Passport home care services. And we did that to ensure that our staff were being utilized for levy customers. We wanted to make sure that the folks here in Clermont County were receiving services that didn't have another Passport was another payer source. There were other home care agencies that could pick them up. So we wanted to make sure that the folks that couldn't receive that service were receiving our assistance. Go ahead. Okay, so adult day services. I'm going to go down through our services real quickly, just give you a snippet. And what I provided you as far as data goes is obviously last year, 2022. I wanted to give you a look at what pre-pandemic looked like and what it looked like kind of coming out of the pandemic. So as you can see there, in 2019, we were providing services to 160 individuals. I didn't include 2020 at all because the Adult Day Center was essentially shut down throughout the pandemic. And it's been a slow return to normal. But our Adult Day, let me back up quickly, is a center for older adults that have been diagnosed with some form of cognitive or physical impairment. So a form of dementia, or maybe Parkinson's or stroke impairments. And they come to our day center. It's a day program where they come and are involved in activities that will continue their motor skills, their cognitive functioning, the ability to socialize. And another big piece of that, too, is giving respite to the caregivers. Most of the individuals that you see depicted here have 24-hour caregivers. And just getting a break from those responsibilities is a big relief for them. And it's an opportunity for their loved one to come to a center and again, socialize and participate in some activities. So last year, 103 individuals received just over 34,000 hours of service. We are hoping those numbers continue to increase. I will tell you, just like every other industry, we are dealing with workforce issues as well. One of the leading causes here with our numbers being where they're at is our transportation program. We also provide transportation to and from the center, but our driver numbers are a bit down, so that directly affects the number of folks that we can have attend. We do offer the center to families if they can self-transport. But a lot of families have difficulty doing that. Obviously, a lot of their loved ones are using wheelchairs, electric scooters, things along those lines. Home care. This is another one that's really been hit by the labor force. The home health aide field was going through some tumultuous times prior to the pandemic, and the pandemic only exacerbated that. So you can see, just prior to the pandemic, we were serving just over 1,700 older adults with personal care assistance, light housekeeping services, in-home respite services, and we're down to just a little over 700 older adults being served. And that is a direct correlation with just the lack of home health. And, several years back, we created a program called the Home Options Program, where we contracted with other local home care agencies to help us meet the need. And they're having the same issues. They have no staff as well. The Medicaid passport programs dealing with the same struggles. So we're looking at things. These are important services. What we've done in this time of not being able to serve as many as we have, we've prioritized things. So personal care and respite are our number one services to make sure that we're getting out to those customers, those older adults that need it. While we certainly know that light housekeeping is important as well, a clean home is a healthy home. Those have been, while we are serving, those are lower on the priority list when it comes to home care right now. And we are looking at some innovative things to try and increase these numbers. And I'll talk about that here in a little bit too. Our home delivered meals program. This is what everyone fondly knows as the Meals on Wheels program. We are serving just a little over 400 individuals, and we provided over 60,000 meals last year to our customers. This Meals on Wheels program has gone through a lot of changes over the years. When I first started with the agency, we were still providing hot meals, preparing meals at our center. And what we found was the people that were on the first part of the delivery route were getting that great warm meal. People on the back end were getting something that, the broccoli was a little bit mushy and, losing some of its freshness. So we listened to the customers, what they wanted. And we moved to some chilled meals that could be kind of like your microwavable meals. And customers enjoyed that, but didn't like that there wasn't a selection. So we quickly made another pivot to what is called our Savory Select program. So now we offer, I believe there's a selection of over 36 meals that our customers can choose from each week. And you'll be surprised. Everyone's palate is very different. We have some customers that probably have 5 hamburgers every day of the week because that's what they want. But you'll notice too, the numbers are a little bit lower than years prior. Previous leadership at Clermont Senior Services had put a cap on our meals program for budgetary reasons. This is another program that we're currently looking at to see how we can meet the needs of more older adults in our community. Oh, quickly, you're fine. One tidbit there. 75% of our meals are delivered by volunteers, and I'll talk about that a little bit more later too. But that's tremendous. Back in the early 2010s, we were just barely over double digits, I think, for meal delivered by volunteers, and now we're upwards of 75, sometimes 80% of our meals being delivered by volunteers. Our home safety repair program. So this is one that continues to grow. This is a service that we provide, again, to maintain the safety of seniors living in their homes still. And this program, the only piece of it that is funded by the levy is the manager of that program, the staff, and it's one person. Every bit of money that exits that program for materials and repairs comes out of grants that she has procured herself. So you can see down there, Clermont County CDBG, Department of Development Home Repair Grant, Bradoff Foundation, Carol Peterson Grant, Greater Cincinnati Foundation. So they work really hard to locate grants, and they're really going out. If you hit the next slide, you'll see I've got a couple pictures. of just some of the work we do. So our number one home repair is grab bars. And that is, putting those typically in their bathrooms, their restrooms, so they can enter and exit their tubs or their showers safely. We do put some of those on the entries of their homes as well. Secondarily is plumbing and electrical repairs. We do have contractors that we work with and volunteers as well in this program. But there you can see we had an individual, their home, they have required the use of a wheelchair, and obviously those steps were no longer, they were no longer able to navigate those. So our volunteers went out and built a ramp there to the right. The one below, that customer had what she didn't realize, a water leak behind her refrigerator. That was a mobile home. So that floor swelled up really quickly on her. And we had contractors that were able to go out and replace that subfloor, put some new flooring down to ensure that she's able to remain mobile through her home without any trip hazards or things like that. Case management. So our case management program, it consists of licensed social workers. We have a couple RNs that are kind of on their second line of duty as far as retirements go. They've come back and done some case management for us. But our case management follows most of our customers through their services. Predominantly home care, our Meals on Wheels programs, respite. Case managers follow through services with them, assess their needs, check with them periodically to see if their needs have changed, and work on a care plan that is tailored to their needs, what their needs are. So again, going through the things, the housekeeping duties that they require, the personal care attention that they need. Our case managers are there to follow them through that. And they are a line of communication for our customers. Anytime they have a need or a question, they can reach directly out to their case manager for that assistance. So we provided just over 11,000 hours last year to almost 3,000 individuals. And besides following them through our services, we also help our consumers apply for various social service programs. So the summer crisis program, winter crisis programs through HEAP, Medicaid, SNAP, ensuring that our customers are getting everything that they need and to extend their fixed incomes as far as they can. So go ahead with that next slide, please. Lifelong learning. These are fondly known as senior centers to most. We call them lifelong learning centers because that's what we want to present to those that attend. Learning never stops. We continue through retirement and older age. We have two centers, one located in Clermont Township and one located at Miami Township, both at the civic centers in those respective townships. And I'd just like to quickly say a thank you to the township trustees in those areas because we get those locations free of rent. It's a service for us and it's a service for their residents in their townships. So last year, this one, we were really making a lot of stride prior to the pandemic. Over 26,000 visits, almost 1,000 older adults coming through our doors. The pandemic really curtailed that. Obviously, lifelong learning centers were closed for a significant amount of time to that as well. But that program is really rebounding. And I think it just goes to show the programming that we have there is very interesting to the residents of Clermont County, and they come out in droves to participate. So both centers are 5-day-a-week centers. Union Township is what we consider kind of our non-traditional center. So folks come for a specific program and then leave directly afterwards. But they're doing things like health and wellness programs, art and crafts, Tai Chi, and even dance classes. And I always say, when I first started, when I heard about lifelong learning and arts, I pictured arts and crafts, little pipe cleaners, things like that. They are not. I mean, they do a lot of woodworking, a lot of watercolor, and it's very advanced and very impressive. It's just amazing the things that they do there. Our Miami Township Civic Center is more of a traditional center. It's kind of a 50-50. We have some non-traditional programming. but that is still a location that seniors can come to and play bingo, play cards, and they stay all day and just socialize. And that's the importance of some of our lifelong learning centers, is that opportunity for older adults to socialize. And it's really their first look into our services. Typically, that's where a lot of our seniors start, is through our lifelong learning centers. They come in and learn more about what we have to offer through that. Next slide, please. Congregate meals. This is a part of our lifelong learning centers as well. Our Miami Township Center offers congregate meals 2 days a week, Tuesdays and Fridays, and that is a place where seniors, if they so desire, they can come, socialize, and have a warm meal together. These meals have stayed relatively consistent through prior to the pandemic and post-pandemic. What I included but separated on this slide is the congregate meals that we also provide at Adult Day. It kind of, I know in prior presentations, they were all kind of lumped together. Meals are provided at Adult Day. We do a breakfast, lunch, and an afternoon snack. So I wanted to separate these so you could kind of see what we were doing at our Miami Township congregate meal site versus our Adult Day. But quite a few meals, again, getting served to the older adults of Clermont County. Specialized transportation. This is one that when we go out and do our needs assessments, that is always the top priority of our older adult residents. As we age, sometimes we give up driving, sometimes voluntarily, sometimes involuntarily. But ensuring that older adults can still get to their medical appointments and maintain their health is incredibly important. So this is an important program for our seniors. And as you can see, prior to the pandemic, we almost hit 50,000 trips in 2019. It's been a slow crawl back. The transportation program is one of those programs that has been hit by the labor force issues. But I will say, in the last couple of weeks, we've seen several candidates apply for positions, and we're hoping that those come through and we can really get that program back to what it was. What we've done in the meantime, again, is prioritize those trips. So medical is number one priority. We have drivers that get into our lot at a little before 5 a.m. to start dialysis routes. Dialysis is one of those life-sustaining medical things that people need to survive, and we want to ensure that they're getting those safely. So medical trips are a priority, and of course, getting folks to the grocery store is still a priority. We've curtailed beauticians and salons. I know that's for a lot of our folks, that's an atrocity, and we hope to get that back soon. But we want to make sure that we're serving the best way we can in the meantime. Next slide, please. Right there too, some photos of our vehicles and some of our customer and driver there. But last year we served 86 United States veterans with 26, just almost 2,700 medical rides. We partner with the Veterans Service Commission here in Clermont County because their vehicles aren't equipped for wheelchair accessibility, and ours are. So we want to make sure that our veterans are getting down to the VA clinic, whether it's here in Clermont County or downtown, so that they can get their much needed services as well. And that's just a snapshot of some of the vehicles that we've received through that 5310 specialized transportation program I was speaking of earlier. Again, all of our vehicles are accessible, which is very important to those that we serve. Next slide, please. Adult Protective Services and Guardianship. So we took over, we became the exclusive contract provider for the Department of Job and Family Services for the Adult Protective Service program back in 2000. And at that time, all the way up to about 2008, referrals stayed pretty stagnant, just above about 100 a year we were receiving. And from 2008 on, there's been a steady increase. And I know I've been in this room before and talked about Adult Protective Services, and these are numbers that we don't want to see rising, but they have been. And we typically look, because of the types of cases that we're seeing and the time period those numbers started to increase. We look at the opioid epidemic as kind of one of those milestones that created these increased referrals. families were moving in together. Family members were taking advantage of mom and dad, grandma and grandpa. And, you know, I will say, you know, we saw those numbers rise all the way to the pandemic, and then we got a little bit of a decrease. And I think that was because some of our older adults during the pandemic didn't want anyone with them. You know, we were told to shelter in place at that time. So maybe that was a little bit of a blessing for some of those situations. Our number one referral is for self-neglect. And that is, you know, typically your older adults that are living alone and sometimes going with undiagnosed dementia. So that slow progression of them starting to those daily tasks, they're forgetting to do things, not paying bills, not taking care of themselves, and neighbors are if we're lucky, family members that are still involved start to see those things and reach out for a referral. Our second most referred allegation is exploitation, and that is taking advantage of our older adults. But what our investigators do, they go out, speak with the individual, and they're connecting them with services. Typically, if it's a self-neglect issue, if it's not cognitive impairment related, we're trying to find services to get into the home to make their lives a little bit easier. If we're talking cognitive impairment, that's when we start to look at guardianship. We also contract with the Clermont County Probate Court to investigate and serve guardianships here in Clermont County. And you see those numbers are on the rise. And I don't have any formal data on that, but informally, we are seeing younger, older adults being diagnosed with early onset dementia. And, you know, as we continue to look at these numbers and look at other research, we'll have a better idea. But that's what I kind of point to why those numbers are increasing. So anyway, next slide, please. Volunteer resources. This program has grown tremendously over the years, and it is directly responsible for Clermont Senior Services being able to leverage our revenues to increase services. We have, as of last year, over 400 volunteers that provided over 21,000 hours of service. And that goes across our Meals on Wheels program. Like I said, 70 to 80% of our meals are delivered by volunteers. We have volunteer shoppers. We determined several years back that our home health staff were spending a lot of time traveling to grocery stores. You know, in some locations in Clermont County, you got to drive a solid 30 minutes or longer to get to a grocery store. So they're gone for, you know, sometimes a couple hours away from the home just getting groceries. So we created a volunteer shopper program, and it grew tremendously. So our home health aides can now stay in the home doing those tasks that are maintaining the home. And we have those shoppers going out and battling the crowds and inflation of the grocery stores. But we also have extra hands. They go out and do a lot of yard work for our seniors. You know, as an adult that owns their home, you know, I know myself personally, I have a lot of dignity with my home. You know, I want to keep it fresh and looking nice. And sometimes as we age, we're not able to do those things. We have volunteers that go out and clean those homes up for them so they can have some pride again about the exterior of their homes. We've worked with our officers throughout the county to create a visiting officer program. We have, I think, every township PD involved, and of course, the Clermont County Sheriff. They go out and make visits to our seniors on a regular basis just to socialize with them. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, we also have some administrative volunteers, and we have one specifically. Her name is Carol Kirby. She is our front desk receptionist, and she volunteers 40 hours a week. She is there every day, and she is amazing. All of our volunteers are amazing, but when you have one that's putting in 40 hours a week, you gotta, and she's on her second retirement as well. So we appreciate them all very much. Next slide. In 2018, as we were seeing those increases in guardianship cases, and with those cases, typically, again, you're seeing older adults that have cognitive impairments, not able to make decisions for themselves. And in most cases, there's no family involved to do that, or in some cases, the family involved is not appropriate to do that. So these seniors were essentially left with no one to make decisions for themselves, and they couldn't do that either. So we created this volunteer guardian program, and I'll be the first to admit that I thought this was going to fall flat on its face. I didn't think there'd be anyone in the community that would want to make healthcare decisions for another individual. But as you can see, we have 13 up there as of now. I think that number is actually larger. I think we've hit 15 or 16 volunteer guardians that have taken on the responsibility of helping older adults with cognitive impairment make healthcare choices. These older adults have been placed in nursing facilities, so they're not out in the community any longer, but they do need someone to make those difficult healthcare decisions for them. And the 13 individuals you see there are doing that. And just this year, our volunteer guardian program was recognized by the Clermont County Chamber of Commerce with the Health Award for the impactful work that they do out in the community. So I just wanted to share that. Next slide, please. So here's one of the things I said I mentioned earlier with our homemaking services, the numbers being down. We looked out at other organizations similar to ours, and there are some that have volunteer homemaking programs. Volunteers that just go out and do some of the basic necessities for older adults: vacuuming, mopping, helping with some laundry. So we just put the word out on this program a couple of weeks ago. I've not heard if we've got interest at this point, but this is one of the things that we're going to look at to help, fill that gap with the lack of home health. So I just to bring that to your attention. One of the other things we're looking at is what's called consumer-directed care. A lot of local agencies, regional agencies do that. It's where the older adult can utilize family members or friends to provide those services, and the individuals are reimbursed through the provider. I have mixed feelings on it, but we've got to get out there and make sure that we're serving customers. So we're going to look at everything as possibilities. So nothing is off limits at this moment, but we're exploring those options. So I'll keep you posted on that as well. And as we're kind of wrapping up here, Clermont Senior Services operates 7 subsidized housing facilities for seniors in Clermont County. These started being constructed long before I arrived at Clermont Senior Services, but they are beautiful facilities. As of 2022, we had almost 400 residents on the waiting list for the total of 264 units. So without a doubt, affordable senior housing is a need in Clermont County. These facilities were developed using HUD 202 funds. And I'll be the first to admit I'm fairly new in my position. Housing is something I'm still having to grapple with and understand. But what I do know is that HUD 202 funding has decreased significantly throughout the years. There's just not enough there to make these projects happen at the moment. But it is something that we're going to be looking at into the future, because there is absolutely a need. So just a quick photo of some of our facilities throughout the county. Again, beautiful facilities, 1-bedroom apartments, secure entry, and an opportunity for some of our older adults to socialize with their peer group there. Next slide, please. All right, so I am wrapping up finally. Just some current and impending challenges. I wanted you to be aware of this. Obviously, no-brainer, the workforce issue is a big challenge for us. The increasing 60 and older population in Clermont County. It is still, models are still predicting that we're going to continue to rise for the next couple decades. Up into 2040, the 60 and older population will be at 32% of Clermont County's population. This data comes from Miami University's Scripps Gerontology Department. They really have pinpointed all the research and data on older adult living here in the state of Ohio. And again, I wanted to mention this, we are seeing, again, this isn't formal data, but we are seeing more and more younger adults being diagnosed with early onset dementia. And that's going to affect us across all of our services and the community. Rising reimbursement rates. I mentioned this. This is something that really is occurring in the Medicaid waiver programs. Medicaid reimbursement rates are increasing. It's a great thing, but it does affect agencies like ours when it comes to, again, being able to hire home health staff. Those staff are going to go to agencies that are getting that higher reimbursement rate that we're not able to provide at this moment. So those are things that we're looking at. And as always, funding. We are researching other revenue streams to see what we can do. We're always searching for grant funding. The Clermont County senior levy has not changed in over 20 years. We have continued to provide excellent service to the older adults in Clermont County, whether it was through the recessions that we've been through, inflation that we deal with on a daily basis, rising gas prices. Those all affect how we can serve our older adults here in Clermont County. And we still find ways to do more with less, but it's getting more and more difficult. But we're going to keep pushing forward. Last slide. Again, we're just committed to being responsible stewards of taxpayer dollar and serving the older adults of our county. And I'll end with you are all very aware that 2022 was a pretty tumultuous year for Clermont Senior Services. We have an entirely new leadership team at Clermont Senior Services, all new eyes, all new ears, and looking at how we do things and how we serve the older adult population in Clermont County. And we want to be innovative. So we have our eyes towards the future. We're looking forward to it. So I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Bill, thank you very much for coming. Having used senior service for my father, I know the importance of it. For him to have been able to stay in his home after the loss of my mother meant a lot to him. And the Meal on Wheels, I've helped with that over the years. It's a great program. So I thank you for all you do.
And just to kind of touch on the waiting list that we've had, that waiting list has been talked about for years. What's a path forward or a possible, look into additional senior housing within Clermont County? What's the obstacle to that? Is it the 202 funding? Is it?
From my knowledge at this moment, and again, I'll be very transparent. I've been with the agency for 17 years. Housing was nothing that I was ever really involved in. So I am still getting my feet wet. But what I had heard through the years is, yes, it was the HUD 202 funding being the direct kind of issue with being able to move forward on that. We had made an attempt, I think in 2018, 2019, to partner with a developer. And I'll be honest, I don't know that project fell through. It was a property in Union Township. I do know that. I don't know the details of it, but it did fall through. But what I can tell you is that is on our radar and very upfront, because we need that service here in Clermont County. And we see it more and more right now with seniors living on fixed incomes, inflation. Older adult homelessness is on the rise here in Clermont County, not just your urban areas here at home. So those things are needed. So I can't answer your question directly, Commissioner Painter, but know that that's something that we're researching and trying to figure out, because we want to move forward with it.
So let's put some people together and let's fix it.
Absolutely.
It's been a challenge since I became a commissioner in 2017. It's nothing that we as a county can't work together and make happen. So let's do that. Let's do that. Okay.
Taking the helm, stepping up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That waiting list, I served on the housing board for many years, has always been very high.
Yeah.
People wanting in, and we don't have the room.
What I will say, that housing board still exists, obviously. George Brown, one of our prior CEOs, was very much the pioneer in getting senior housing developed here in Clermont County. I did pull him out of retirement to sit on that housing board. So he's gonna help educate me through this
Good.
process too.
Yeah, the dignity for seniors to be able to have a place that they call their own and to be able to intermingle with seniors in a facility like that. If you've ever been to one, I mean, there's nothing like it. I mean, it really is rewarding for them. So,
Absolutely agree.
Yep.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we are very fortunate. We have 3 more new employees today. And Bruce, you want to introduce yours first?
Morning.
morning.
pleasure to introduce our newest permit specialist, Alicia Richmond. She's born and raised in Georgetown, Ohio, by her parents, Kenny and Julie Richmond. She's one of two daughters, youngest, and her sister Emily has two children, Isabella and Noah. Although she doesn't have any children of her own, she does have a rescue dog named Archie, who's a shepherd mix.
Good for you.
She's a huge animal lover and enjoys learning new things, all about different types of animals, camping, boating, and trying new things. So we're very glad to have Alicia on board.
Thank you, Alicia. Don't
Welcome.
leave because we have to have a picture after. Okay.
Okay.
Next, we have Job and Family Services.
We have two new staff. We have Timothy Lanter. He will be in public assistance. He's been married for 41 years and has 5 grandchildren, and he's been in retail for the past 34 years, which is older than me. And then we have Miss Kylie Kidwell. She'll be a clerical specialist in child support. She's 20 years old and from Batavia. She's lived there her whole life. She's in her 3rd year of classes at NKU, majoring in education. And in her free time, she has 2 younger sisters and 3 cats.
Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you.
I said we had 3. I skipped you. We have 4 new employees.
Oh,
Great.
yes.
Cool.
Okay. Lyle, you also have a new employee?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I kind of have a new employee. This is Matt.
Kind of have,
What's that?
kind of have.
Kind of.
Okay.
So Matt's worked here before and
Right.
left and came back and left and came back. Most recently, he worked for the village 30. Yeah.
I met
Matt
Matt.
has a lot of experience. Matt has.
Will you hold on to him this time?
I hope, right?
What was it? Something he said before?
At least he's coming back.
Right.
Matt will be working at our abandoned wastewater treatment plant. He has a Class 2 wastewater license. Also has a Class 3 water treatment license. Grew up locally, went to Richmond High School, graduated a couple years ago, right?
Yes.
A couple. But we're really happy to have him back. Again, he has a wealth of knowledge both on water and wastewater, but he's right now going to be working in wastewater. I'm sure he'll move up to his Class 3 license too once he gets
Okay.
more experience. So,
Be nice to him this time.
I'll try.
Yeah, I'm never off.
Welcome back, Matt.
Thank you.
You bet.
If the new employees want to come up here in front, Michael will get a picture for us.
We're limited on time today, Mike. You only get 3 pictures, and I'm gonna count.
Watch the employees vanish.
Hey, Mike,
Yeah.
take all you want.
No, do not listen to him.
You want to move over a little bit this way?
And if you don't
Is it good?
smile, they keeps clicking it. Uh-huh. Good job.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Bye.
Thank- And today we also have someone that after 38 years has decided to retire. And we have the whole prosecuting attorney's office here, I do believe. Is it Scovanner?
Yes.
I got it right.
Yes, you did. Not many people do.
So I practice. So this is a certificate for your 38 years of service to the Clermont County Prosecutor's Office. And on behalf of Commissioner Painter, Commissioner Corcoran, and myself, Bonnie Baxter. Are you really going to retire?
Well, actually, I'm taking the executive directorship of Veteran Services as of Monday.
Very nice.
So,
Yeah.
leaving the prosecutor's office, but I'm still,
See, you
County
can
employee.
retire, but move on to
Yes.
another venture in your life.
Yes.
But congratulations.
Thank
And Mark, did you have something?
I want to thank Tom. I've known Tom for quite a few years, as you might imagine. Tom's background, he started with the county as an intern in 1985. He started as an assistant prosecutor in 1986. He's worked under 4 elected
prosecuting attorneys. He's the longest tenured assistant I can even imagine. Tom has also served in the U.S. military, active duty for 5 years of his 20 or 37 years.
9 years total.
9 years total active duty. He retired in 2014 with the rank of lieutenant colonel. And I think he's going to do exceedingly well in his new endeavor with the Veteran Service Commission. He's a perfect man for the job. Congratulations, Tom.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
You always have to have your picture taken.
Let's get- let's get-
Sure.
Down.
Yeah, why not? You want your other members up here?
We could stay up and have
And have
members
them
all
all
get in
come
there.
down.
Let's
Yeah.
do that. We'll go
Bonnie,
back up.
There's probably somebody here with him that you didn't recognize. I mean, he didn't get to work 38 years without having some serious support here on it.
I
On his
should
left.
recognize his long-suffering wife, Sharon.
What are we doing? Are we going back up or what are we gonna do?
Why don't we get this, and then we can.
Okay. Okay.
All
Now,
right.
we're going up.
We're going up.
And
The rest of you come
prosecutors
up.
have to come up now.
Every assistant staff, come on up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Too much.
Now they're
Oh, my gosh.
We gotta get people.
Let them just do it. Everybody turn sideways.
Hey. We need the shorter folks in the
Did
front.
you not hear me say introduce yourself?
Oh, no.
Oh, that was nasty.
It's running a picture.
Keep going, keep going, keep going.
Look at Greg watching it like,
They all got in there.
okay. Thank you. Congratulations.
I know how that's done.
Good
to see you there.
In line.
Oh, no problem.
Thanks for letting us have, thanks for letting us have
Foil.
it again.
I lost my sister about 10 minutes in before. I was pretty.
Love my veterans.
First time.
Good.
Predisposed.
Love being the U.S.
I was gonna ask you
Amazing,
who
right?
was the best prosecuting attorney.
Consider a problem.
Right.
I didn't
Don't ever
put you in
worry
that
about that. I laugh about that stuff. I laugh about that stuff all the time. I got it. Thank you.
Good answer.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Mark.
Sorry you had to wait so long.
It's all right. It's all right.
Congratulations.
He waited 38 years.
That's a good point.
That's a lot of years.
Point.
Boy, that emptied, didn't it?
Woo.
Okay. Moving on to item D, public participation, and we emptied the house on that one, didn't we? Gil, you have something, Gail?
No, sorry. Never mind.
Okay. Moving on then to item E, consent agenda, consent agenda.
We were gonna move up Wade and Garmin.
Okay, I'll do
Yes,
it after
Villiger.
this. okay?
Yes. That's what I was umming about earlier.
Okay, let me finish this one. Consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve?
So move.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Sorry, Wade. I had it down here, but I didn't do it.
We all make little errors in life. Look at the time I mispronounced your name 3 times in one day. You forgave me.
We forgot about that.
Good thing you brought that up.
There's,
I know.
What was the date on
Thanks
that?
for reminding me.
there's been no forgiveness.
I forgive you. Okay.
Yeah, I have the date written down here
I
that
knew
you
it.
did that.
Right. That's what I was
Well, today we have our project manager from Garmin Miller, Mr. Jason Fleming, to update everybody on the Villiger Phase 1 project.
Good. Thank you.
Thanks for sending me up after you made a mad Wade. I appreciate that.
No problem. I'm all about that. Keep the attention off of me.
So again, just kind of thank you for letting me be here again to give you an update here. I just want to go through some of the pictures. I'll give you basically what they've done since I've last been here, and then kind of the outlook for until I'm here the next time Angie tells me I need to be here. So what you're seeing here, just a couple quick snapshots. We'll go through them pretty quick. If you do have questions during looking at these pictures, let me know and I'll try to answer them. But basically, they've stripped all the soils off there and they're doing the backfill for the building pads. Is what you're seeing in there, and that is on the, let me get my directions right, the west end, kind of the northwest corner, I guess is the best way to say it. So if you look clear in the back there, the job trailers is up there almost directly across from the sheriff's department / jail. So if you go on to the next one, just kind of a quick shot. It was raining that day, so I didn't want to get my boots muddy, so I stayed a little bit out. But they're basically starting to do the storm sewers and putting the storm lines in and the structures for that. And then on the next photo, what you're seeing there is a bunch of pink flags is all your rammed aggregate piers that are going. So they've laid that out. Since then, they've actually probably, as of today, they probably have that building done with the rammed aggregate piers, and they're probably working on the, I got it written down, the highway operations building. But what they do there, so those are approximately 6 to 8 foot deep. It's just basically a rammed aggregate pier. They're being tested to make sure that they are meeting the compaction requirements that they have. And that is, again, for the salt barn up there on the north end of the facility. And then the next picture is just that north retention pond. I know the last time I had it up here, they were just working on that. So that's showing they got the head wall structures in on the east side, and there's one on the west side that you can't really see. Just kind of showing you that cleaned up. And then here is a quick picture of them when they did their first aggregate pier. That is them putting it in, just to kind of give you a quick synopsis of how it works. So basically what they'll do is they'll auger out the soils, and then they take aggregate and they push that aggregate in there, and it helps with the structural integrity of that. And then on the final picture, I believe, yep, I just wanted you guys to be able to see the amount of debris that we were moving out of there. If you've driven by the site, you can obviously see it piled up on the backside. With that being said, that is not the elevation height that pile is going to be. What they did, they piled that back behind their topsoil stockpile. Once they get some of the building pad done and start cutting in the roads and stuff, they'll move that topsoil back, and then they'll level that concrete out to where we have it shown on the drawings.
Is that some of the concrete that was buried that we didn't know about?
That's very little of the concrete that's buried, but yes, there's a lot. That, and I couldn't find a picture of the boat that was in there at one point in time, but there was a boat in there as well. So and I'll give you just a presumption on my part. A lot of that looks like bridge debris from over time. My guess is at some point in time, a boat got piled up there along a bridge, and then when they demoed that bridge, they just took the boat with them. Purely an assumption on my part. But so that's just a quick picture, snapshot pictures, I guess, of that. And then I'll go ahead and go through what they've been working on the past month here real quick, take a few minutes. Over the past month, they've been doing mostly dirt work, doing their cuts and their backfills, and then obviously removing the debris that you see there.
Are they hauling that debris off, or they?
No, that is getting hauled to the west side of the site. There, we laid out a place for them to do that, and that not burying it again, because we don't want to do that, but it potentially allows for in the future, if you ever want to use that area as storage, just like an aggregate storage, it gives you some of that structural stability and kind of cover it without costing you too much money. Been working on removal of the debris, obviously, and then storm structures, as we noted in the pictures, and then layout of the aggregate piers for the salt barn, as well as starting those aggregate piers. Again, like I said, they're probably done with that as of today. So what you'll see over the next month, we'll go with the next month, is they'll finish up the dirt work, the cuts, and the backfill. Bless you. And then they'll also work on underground utilities, water lines, storm sewer, sanitary. And then they'll continue to lay out the aggregate piers for the highway operation building is next, what they're working on. And then I believe fleet operations and equipment storage. I don't know exactly what order they're going in on that. And then they'll start their concrete footings for the buildings. They're going to start on the salt barn probably, I would say not next week, but the week after when the rebar comes in. So they're looking about 2 weeks to get rebar. So you'll start seeing some excavation of that and the rebar and concrete being poured. and then they're going to start cutting in roads and adding stone. They would like, and they've talked about it, to have the base course of asphalt done before the asphalt plant shut down for the winter. So that way they're not tracking mud. It helps keep 222 cleaned up as best as it can. Plus, it allows for extra lay down areas for contractors. So that's a quick synopsis of what we're going through right now. And I guess I'll open it to any questions.
You're keeping it pretty clean on the road, I'll tell you that much.
Well, and I think you guys have had some people out there going through as well.
Yeah.
So between the contractors and the county, it's been keeping it clean, that's for sure.
Putting that base coat of asphalt down, that'll help with that immensely. But,
Yeah,
but since you're gonna track it, since you're gonna run trucks over it, that'll also give you a good indication of what you got, when it goes down too.
well, and one of the things I've talked with the contractors in regards to that, I have zero problems with them putting the asphalt base course down, but if they end up putting over damage in it, they need to fix it before they start putting concrete on. We've had that discussion, so we'll make sure we're tracking that as well.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you for an update.
Great. Well, I appreciate you getting everybody else out of here, so I didn't speak in front of 800 people. Best looking crew I've seen in a while, so that's good. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, then we'll move on to item.
I think Wade, are you going to
Wade,
update
you have
juvenile
something
court real quickly to the commissioners? Just a brief juvenile court update.
Oh, okay.
Well, the good news is we don't have any change orders.
Really? We like you today.
You might not like me next week because we do have an audio visual one that's coming up. So everything is moving, but moving at a very slow pace. The audio visual is holding everything up.
That's still holding up the courtrooms.
It's holding up the courtrooms. I mean, we have the cut sheets on the benches. We have everything in the works, but the audio visual, which was just worked out, Mr. Bickford, by you last week, I believe, and Angie. But it's with the right people now. It's with the subcontractor. Hopefully we'll get an answer, and hopefully after that's done, they can just go to town. When I say it holds it up, if they have to do all the casework, all the cut-ins, they can't really do anything to the finished product or walls. So it truly is holding it up. It's not adding days to it because that was already established.
Yeah.
But we would like a little more progress. I mean, I like to see people up there doing their thing, making things happen. So one of the other things, and again, I don't like to destroy foliage and trees, but the 2 trees that were right in the front of the building, take a look at it. They're down now. Chris Turner arranged to have a company come in and take them out on Monday. They were Bradford or Cleveland pears. They constantly dropped limbs, et cetera. But with the replacement of the roof, it was really essential we got rid of it. So they really opened the building up, in my opinion. But I'll let you guys have your own.
Are the modifications in the existing courtroom being worked on too?
Which one now?
In the existing courtroom,
Yes.
where they had it. Okay.
So it's moving, but it's not moving at a pace that I would like to see. And if I will, and thank Jason for coming in and filling you folks in, but you also have the other project that we're not affiliated with down there, which is the Ridge. Townscapes has started removing of the soil, and I don't recommend going down there if you don't have to. Major, I know you have to, but if you don't have to go down there, you've got 2 earth movers and a minimum of 8 trucks just hauling soil. That's all they're doing. So it's a little hectic down there. Be careful if you do.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Moving on to G. Nope. F. Non-consent agenda. Item 6. It is the recommendation that the Board of County Commissioners adopt resolution number 109-23, resolving to approve payment to vendors in the total amount of $1,084,920.44 as set forth in the BCC approval invoice report for checks dated August 2nd, 2023, BCC directed prepaid invoices reports and or the procurement card transaction report as presented by the county auditor on July 31st, 2023, and further authorizing the county auditor to issue warrants for same pursuant to section 319.16 of the Ohio Revised Code. Do I have a motion to accept?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Payne,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Morning, Pam.
Cost, Clermont County Emergency Management Agency Director. Item number 7 is a recommendation to nominate the following individuals for appointment and/or reappointment to serve on the Clermont County Local Emergency Planning Committee as approved by the Clermont County Local Emergency Planning Committee on July 20th of 2023, effective for August 15th, 2023 through August 14th of 2025, pursuant to and in compliance with Section 3750.03B of the Ohio Revised Code. And the list of approved members are in the agenda.
Board, have you had time to review all of them?
Yes.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Number 8.
Item number 8 is recommendation to nominate the following individual for reappointment to serve on the Clermont County Local Emergency Planning Committee as approved by the Clermont County Local Emergency Planning Committee on July 20th of 2023, effective August 15th, 2023 through August 14th, 2025, pursuant to and in compliance with Section 3750.03B of the Ohio Revised Code. And the member recommended is Bonnie Batchelor.
Okay. Board, you've heard the reading of item number 8. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make the motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
None.
Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
I will abstain. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much.
Morning, Connie.
Good morning. Item number 9 is the recommendation to authorize Susan Walther, the Director of the Department of Job and Family Services, to execute addenda number 1 to the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services 4E Child Placement Agreement between the County of Clermont, Ohio, and the Village Network. This agreement was previously ratified by the Board of County Commissioners on November 28th of 2022. It's for the provision of foster care services for children in the care and/or custody of DJFS and/or juvenile court, as well as placement with baby services. And this addenda represents the addition of treatment foster care exceptional needs services at the rates outlined therein. It's effective July 16th of 2023 through December 31st of 2023, with all the terms and conditions of the original agreement to remain in full force and effect.
Thank you. Board, we've had the reading of item number 9. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes, thank
Thanks,
you.
Connie.
You pulled a short straw today, Doug?
Yes, I did. Good morning. Item
Morning.
number 10 is a recommendation to authorize Bonnie Batchelor, President of the Board of County Commissioners, to execute change order number 1 and final to the contract with Barrett Paving Materials out of Middletown, Ohio, relative to the 2022 road resurfacing program, project number RS0122, located in various townships and villages, which represents a decrease in the amount of $315,382.63 for a total adjusted contract price to date of $7,884,518.37 for additions, deletions, and or modifications.
Number 10, do I have a motion to approve?
Make the motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
None.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
Recommendation to authorize Bonnie Batchelor, President of the Board of County Commissioners, to execute change order number 1, accepting bid alternate number one as a part of the contract with Barrett Paving Materials out of Middletown, Ohio, previously ratified by the board on March 29th, 2023 for project number RS-01-23 relative to the 2023 road resurfacing program located in various townships and municipalities, which represents an increase of $436,949.50 for the repairs and resurfacing of Williamsburg Township roads for a total adjusted contract price to date of $6,873,826 for additions, deletions, and modifications, and contingent upon a purchase order. I'd like to say that this is a planned change order. We're waiting for for Williamsburg Township to get their grant approved through BCC.
Thank you. Board, we've had the reading of item number 11. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran? Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes, thank you, Doug.
Thank you.
Back.
You're back.
Item 12 is a recommendation to adopt resolution number 110-23 to amend resolution number 046-23 that was previously adopted by the board on May 3rd, 2023, which determined to make improvements for the construction, operation, and maintenance of the PUB water treatment plant well rehabilitation project. It's project number 6401-60189 for wells 4, 8A, 14, and 15A, located in Pierce Township, to proceed with the revised specifications and estimate of cost and financing, and to approve the request to re-advertise for bids for the project and the revised specifications, and to authorize the clerk of the board to place a legal notice in a newspaper of general circulation on Thursday, August 10th, 2023, schedule a non-mandatory pre-bid meeting on August 24th at 10 a.m. with bids to be received until 2:00 p.m. local time on Thursday, August 31st, 2023, here in the Office of the Board of County Commissioners. Will it be publicly open and read aloud, and the notice will also be posted on the county's website. And the revised engineer's estimate for this project is $717,500.
Okay, board, you've heard the reading of item number 12. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes, thank you, Lyle. Finally, Major, you get to come up. Good
Morning.
morning.
Item 13 is a recommendation to approve the request to advertise for bids for inmate food services for inmates housed in the Clermont County Adult and Juvenile Detention Facilities pursuant to the specification included in the request for bid, and to authorize the clerk of the board to place a legal notice in a newspaper of general circulation on August 10, 2023, with bids to be received until Thursday, September 7, 2023 at 2 p.m. local time in the Office of the Board of County Commissioners, 101 East Main Street, Batavia, Ohio, 45103, where they will be publicly opened and read aloud shortly thereafter. This notice will also be posted on the Clermont County's website at the following URL link, www.clermontcountyohio.gov.
Thank you, BJ. Board, you've heard the reading of item number 13. Do I have a motion to approve?
Before you make that motion, I noticed that we have a change in the date from 8/9 that was originally on the.
Originally on the motion, and it is 8:10.
It is 8/10.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll make the motion with the modification.
Second.
Okay. Any other discussion? Roll call?
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Morning.
Morning.
Hi, Emily.
I have a recommendation to resolve to approve and authorize changes in the annual appropriation resolution number 182-22 for calendar year 2023. This is a supplemental appropriation increase to Common Police Court of Probation Services for their other expenses for $7,436. They applied for a grant from Ohio Law Enforcement Bulletproof Vest Program, and they received an award acknowledgement. So this is, they get a 75% reimbursement back. So this is in order to appropriate the funds to purchase.
Order, we've had the reading of item number 14. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes. Thank you, Emily.
Thanks, Emily.
Any additional? We don't have Tom, we don't have additional.
Oh, I know.
Okay, item H is an executive session pursuant to section 121.22 G3 of the Ohio Revised Code to confer with the prosecuting attorney concerning disputes involving the public body that are the subject of pending or imminent court action. Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
Make the motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Corcoran? Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes, we will return after executive.
Well, Mike's got to figure out what buttons to push.
He's like,
We have returned from executive session where we went in pursuant to section 121.22 G3 of the Ohio Revised Code to confer with the prosecuting attorney concerning disputes involving the public body that are the subject of pending or imminent court action. And in that, there were no decisions or actions taken. Moving on to item J, member comments. Anything, Commissioner Painter, corporate?
Nothing, thank you.
Nothing? Then item K is adjournment.
so move.
I will second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes, we will see you next week.